Hey everybody, my name is Chandler and this is my persuasive speech. I want to persuade my audience that allowing prisoners to vote is very unethical. My three main points to that would be that, one, allowing prisoners to vote is unethical because of they don't take their citizenship with a grain of salt. They don't care about that. So, all the other people who have done life right and have not gotten in trouble, it's not fair to them. Number two being that they don't know what's going on. They don't know all the news that's going on out in the real world. So allowing them to vote, they may not vote on things or vote for people for the right reasons. And number three being that politicians are going to try to use them and sway the vote to the prison populations for them by giving promises to prisoners which will most likely go unkept. For my main number one reason, crimeandjustice.org.uk states, when speaking on Britain's history, no, the reason why it didn't make sense to give prisoners the right to vote was because what the vote meant. It was meant for the hitherto politically unfree, be thy wage laborers or indentured servants. This just goes with my point of it's not fair to the people who have done the right stuff and who have worked hard compared to people who have stolen, murdered, things like that. Why should they get the right to vote? The MarshallProject.org states also, none of the states we examined registered more than 1 in 4 eligible voters who were formerly incarcerated. What this means is that even in the states that allow prisoners to vote after they've gotten out, only 25% have signed up to be registered to vote. So that shows you they don't really care. Like I was saying, they don't care about their citizenship. It's just the reason people want them to vote is so they can get more voters who can help get them votes so they can be in the office. Towards my second point, which would be, they don't know really what's going on in the world. The governorsfoundation.org said that over 70% of inmates in America's prisons cannot read above a 4th grade level. Okay, well, so think about this. They already don't have all the information. They're stuck in prison. And then you read that 70% or more can read to an elementary level. Well, that's just going to give you voters who don't know what they're voting on, and they're just going to look at a couple main points of who the politicians are and what side they're on, and that's how they're going to vote. To my third point, that politicians are just going to try to steal their vote and cause them to, give promises that will most likely be unkept. abcnews.go.com writes, 30 to 40 years ago, if you had 2 members of your own party who weren't in love with the bill, you'd cross party lines and you'd see if you could find some allies there, but that's just not a viable option anymore. This goes to my point of, getting things passed is so hard that if these politicians promise to, if they promise to the prisoners that, okay, we'll do this for you if you vote for me, that there's going to be some people in those houses, Representative and Senate, that do not want this to go through. So it's going to be very hard to keep those promises. Presidents do a solid job most of the time of keeping them, but with prisoners, that's going to be last on their list, and those promises most likely won't be getting kept. One argument is that allowing them to vote would help them realize their freedoms and want them to get out of jail and stay out of jail. Well, I would argue the exact opposite. I think that if you gave them their freedoms in jail, they wouldn't mind jail as much. They wouldn't care. They'd gladly go back if they could be able to vote. If for the ones that do want to vote, they wouldn't mind it. And this would cause, an overpopulation of prisons, and they would even have to release some prisoners out of jail. Hopefully it would be the lighter sentenced ones, but you never know. It could just cause a backfire of problems outside of prisons and inside. Another argument to this would be that they have rights too, but you may have rights, but I feel like voting should be a privilege. I think that, if you going back to my main point being that, they don't respect their citizenship. Well, if you can't respect that, then why should you be able to vote? In conclusion, I hope you all understand where I'm coming from. I hope you understand why, they're not going to respect their citizenship. They're not going to understand what's going on, and they're going to get fooled by politicians, and this is going to cause major problems. And this is why that prisoners should not be able to vote, and it is very unethical. Thank you.